In December 2025, the Supreme Court unanimously struck down President Trump's sweeping tariffs, ending years of presidentially driven trade wars. The case, American Importers Alliance versus United States, clarified that only Congress, not the president, can impose broad tariffs under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974. Chief Justice Roberts wrote that the president's unilateral tariffs were an unconstitutional overreach. The ruling immediately nullified tariffs on goods from China and other countries, signaling a dramatic shift away from protectionism. Businesses and consumers saw an abrupt end to higher prices caused by these tariffs. The court warned that future attempts to misuse trade statutes would face strict judicial scrutiny. This decision reasserted Congress's authority over trade, setting a powerful precedent for the future. Tariffs are taxes on imported goods, designed to make foreign products more expensive and protect domestic industries. President Trump used tariffs as a tool against countries like China, citing unfair trade practices and aiming to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. Section 301 of the Trade Act was the legal basis, allowing the president to impose tariffs without Congress's approval. In 2025, this expanded to new reciprocal and fentanyl tariffs targeting multiple countries. The government collected over $200 billion in tariff revenue, but the costs were passed on to American businesses and consumers. Supporters claimed tariffs brought in money, but economists agreed the burden fell on U.S. households. Ultimately, tariffs became a hidden tax, raising prices across the economy. The Supreme Court's decision ended this era, shifting the focus back to Congress. The Supreme Court's decision was rooted in the Constitution's separation of powers, reaffirming that only Congress can regulate foreign commerce and impose tariffs. The justices revived the non-delegation doctrine, ruling that Congress cannot hand over its core powers to the president. Chief Justice Roberts emphasized that the president cannot rewrite economic laws at will. The court saw the administration's tariffs as bypassing the democratic process and imposing taxes without congressional approval. This ruling draws a clear line. Major economic policies must go through Congress. It signals stricter scrutiny for future executive actions in federal agencies. The decision is a reminder that American government is designed to prevent the concentration of power in any single office. With presidential tariffs struck down, Congress now faces the challenge of crafting new trade laws. Lawmakers must decide how much authority, if any, to delegate to the executive branch. Hearings will gather input from economists, business leaders, and labor unions to assess the impact of the old tariffs and chart a new path. Congress must balance the interests of industries that benefited from tariffs with those that rely on imports. The debate will be contentious, with midterm elections looming and political consequences at stake. Lawmakers must choose between protectionism and open trade, shaping the economy for years to come. The responsibility for trade policy is now a central legislative battle. The outcome will define America's economic and political agenda. For import-dependent businesses, the Supreme Court's decision brings immediate relief and lower costs. Companies can now invest in growth instead of paying billions in tariffs, especially those importing from China. However, years of supply chain shifts to avoid tariffs have left businesses facing new strategic decisions. Some may seek refunds for tariffs paid, but the process will be complex and contested. Domestic industries once shielded by tariffs now face renewed foreign competition and potential job losses. These sectors must adapt, focusing on efficiency and innovation rather than government protection. The ruling creates winners and losers, forcing companies to rethink their strategies. The open market will reward those who can compete globally. The era of tariff-driven business decisions is over. The end of tariffs is expected to gradually lower prices on goods like electronics, clothing, and appliances. Tariffs acted as a hidden tax, raising costs for consumers across the board. Price drops won't be immediate. Retailers must first sell off inventory purchased at higher, tariff-inflated prices. Over time, as new, tariff-free goods reach shelves, shoppers should see relief at the checkout. Not all businesses will pass savings to consumers, but competition will likely drive prices down. The removal of tariffs should help ease inflation and stabilize household budgets. A rules-based trading system, shaped by Congress, will reduce economic uncertainty. While some prices may remain elevated due to other factors, the end of tariffs is a win for American consumers. The Supreme Court's ruling is a turning point for both American government and global trade. By restoring Congress's authority, the court limits presidential power and reaffirms the separation of powers. Trade policy will now be shaped through debate and legislation, not unilateral, executive action. This shift could lead to more stable trade relationships and renewed diplomacy. The end of tariffs lowers costs, but exposes domestic industries to global competition, sparking a national debate about America's economic future. Congress's next moves will set the course for a generation. Above all, the decision upholds the constitutional principle that major economic decisions belong to the people's representatives.